Hey, everybody. Today's Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast is a Saturday double feature. That's right. We're going to look back at the Sharks game, a 2-1 win there on a Friday night. And tonight, a Saturday night, we've got an Islanders preview for you. Plus, we're going to tell you how you can get your hands on those $10 tickets for Utah Hockey Club games. You Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast starts right now.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everyone, I'm Tom Callahan, former NHL voice. Robin Leaño is off this weekend, so just tackling everything solo here, looking back at a Sharks win, 2-1, or pardon me, a Utah win over the Sharks 2-1 on a Friday night and a Saturday night against the New York Islanders. Back-to-back games for this team, and you know what? Coming off a pretty good win. So we're going to talk about that Sharks game first, and later on, as I mentioned, we're going to tell you how you can get your hands on those $10 tickets. So let's start off first things first. How about that win? And you know what? It's not just that we were talking about San Jose, who, by the way, they had a terrible start to the season, okay? Make no mistake about it. They were awful to begin the year. They have gotten better. They have improved. How could you not improve from not winning your first 10, 12 games and almost setting NHL records for ineptitude? At some point, the balloon goes up. Well, not only has the balloon gone up for the Sharks, but they have really begun to play some pretty good hockey. They are giving teams a challenge every single night out. Are they winning every game? No, they're certainly not. I think they learned a lot, honestly, from losing so much in the early going. They had to be tough. They learned to be resilient. They learned to just keep digging. And I think that that is something that, look, it's terrible to go through. As a team, you never want to go through a stretch like that. But if you come out the other side and you've learned some lessons from it, which, again, I think the Sharks did, you can move forward and still salvage a season, still find positive things to do. And the Sharks are climbing the standings very quietly. Nobody's paying attention to them because of the start they had, but a formidable opponent coming into Delta Center. So when you look at the way this game played out, and you know, and if you go back, you look at our preview for the Sharks game, said, this is a team you got to beat. They're behind you in the standings. They are a very capable team. They're going to give you a tough game, but you've got to put them away. So what happens 58 seconds in? Utah's behind. You couldn't ask for a worse start. First minute of the game, Zetterlund scores, and now you're down 1-0. You want to talk about chasing the game from the outset. What I think is interesting here to note is that Utah didn't panic. And I mean, you can say to yourself, they're pro hockey players. They should have composure. They should have this. They should have that. Yeah, that's all fine to say. It's like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. San Jose punched Utah in the face right out of the gate. And so now you have to figure out where you're going to go from there. And I really like the fact that I think Utah built back over the remainder of the game, their momentum. It was a close game. I thought Georgiev played really well. I thought he was pretty impressive in net. And, Vejmelka gives his team the saves that they need down the stretch as well. I'm going to talk about the second period here because it was a little slow, but that's where Utah scores. They hit a couple of posts and still get out of the first period trailing 1-0. This is the other part of being resilient and having this mental capacity to say, when you look at that opening 20 minutes, if I were a fly on the wall of the room of the Utah Hockey Club, there are a couple of ways your trains of thought can go 20 minutes into that game. You can either say to yourself, they got to us early and we've now hit 2 posts. Are we really in this game? Is this going to be our night? That's a tough one. Shots were 11-8. They were fairly close in that first period. But now you're looking at yourself going, is this happening again? Because it's happened a few times this year. Then there's the other way you can take it. They scored on us early. They didn't get anything after that. And we did hit 2 posts, which means we beat the goaltender. We just didn't put it in the net. So, by the way, this is a good time to mention for all you folks who are new to hockey, when you hit the post, it's not a shot on goal. Because the definition of a shot on goal is that the shot would either go in the net or the goaltender makes a save. When you hit a post, the shot does not go in the net and the goaltender does not make a save. So because of that, it's not a shot on goal. A shot on goal must be a puck that is shot that can actually score a goal. So just so you know that, posts don't count. And I think those little nugs are fun to drop out there, especially for the folks. I know you might still be picking up the game. If you're not, if you already know that, great. If you've been following the game a long time, maybe you still didn't know that. So just throwing that out there for you. But you hit a couple posts. You could say, look, we beat the goalie. Now we just have to get the puck on net. And so the second period, from a pure scoring chances perspective, not the best. But what I love is that Utah does find a way to score, and it's Nick Schmaltz, which also I love seeing Schmaltz get on the board. I think he's one of the more deserving guys out there. Obviously, has been more of the playmaker this year and was really snake bitten for a long time. But the fact that he's starting to chip in here and there, I think is super encouraging. I really like that for Utah Hockey Club. He gets his 7th. Clayton Keller's up to 27 assists now on the year, which is fantastic. By the way, Nick DeSimone, welcome to the team. He gets his first point with an assist on that goal. Nice job. There you go. Bring you in and make you feel at home. But that goal at 5:57 of that second period ties it up. And I think now, early in the second, you kind of get your confidence back a little bit. Now, these two teams, again, played each other fairly evenly into the third period. Well, we're going to fast forward to late in the game, where number one, Utah was buzzing towards the end of the game. They were really pinning the Sharks back, which you need to do on home ice. Fantastic job. This is the way you want to play at home. They're pinning the Sharks back. They're really going to work on them. And what happens is eventually Barrett Hayton puts one home. Wrist shot, had some traffic, just put it on net. I honestly don't think the goaltender saw it. And in it goes. Glove side, high, fantastic. So Hayton, 18:28, which means there's a minute 32 left to go in the game. And that now puts you ahead. By the way, Nick Bukestad, I love that guy. I think he works so hard. He makes smart plays, kept that shift alive a couple of times, really did some good things in the offensive zone. And you know what? I understand why teams always trade for him at the deadline, because he does those little things. He's a veteran presence out there, but that line gets the goal. And so now it's 2-1 late. What happens? Kevin Stenlund ends up taking a double minor for high sticking, and he's in the box. Now you roll your eyes. And again, the theme of resiliency has to come up, because number one, that's one of your top penalty killers. He's one of your best face-off men. So you're taking that out of the equation for trying to win that draw in your zone. And now it literally is a double minor. So that means with so little time left in the game, if the Sharks had scored before the end of regulation to tie it, then they would have carried a power play into overtime too. So you want to talk about pressure. Knowing that situation, you know they're going to pull the goaltender, make it 6-on-4, and they did. But Utah just dug deep. That penalty kill did such a great job. I was so impressed with the work they did, and doing it without one of their best penalty killers and top defensive centers out there. Massive. And so tip of the cap to the Utah special teams. I know we've talked a lot about the power play, and deservedly so, because they have been coming on as of late. But the Sharks really did throw everything they could in that final minute at Utah. Veggie had to make a couple of saves, but for the most part, I think Utah really did a great job. And they get out of it with a win. 2-1 win. That's huge. For the momentum of this team, that is huge. I love the way that game went. And just a big win in terms of confidence. And you may say, again, you might be sitting there saying, Tom, it's only the Sharks. No, every win's important, especially in teams that are behind you in the standings. So there you go. Hayton, he's +1, a lot of +1s, not too many minuses on the night. In fact, only 2, Cole and Kesselring, and -1. I mean, that's fine. That happens. I'm not too concerned about that, but I love the Schmaltz, 2 shots, out there getting the goal, which is great. I love to see that. Keller gets an assist, Bukestad an assist, Hayton gets a goal. DeSimone, let's look at his game. +1, 1 assist, 14 minutes of ice time. So that's not bad for a defenseman. He's getting a regular rotation out there in 21 shifts, and all of them are at even strength. So exactly 14 minutes of ice time at even strength for DeSimone. I like it. You're not throwing the guy in the deep end of the pool. So that, to me, is a plus. One of the things I would cut down on, giveaways. I feel like Utah Hockey Club is going to want to turn around and really cut down on these. They had 15 giveaways in the game, and that's just coughing the puck up one way or the other. I'd like to see that reduced. Cooley and Mata both had 3 of them. I hate to see a defenseman with giveaways. Forwards, I understand. Maybe you're trying to make a play. But I'd like to cut that down. But the other thing I want to talk about is the hits in the game, because of the 23 hits in that game, 9 of them were Jack McBain. I love that. So 4 of them, no surprise, belong to Spicy Tuna, Liam O'Brien, and 4 to Lawson Krause. Perfect. That is perfect. That is what you want to see on the sheet after a game. You want to see those 3 names with a bunch of hits out there making a difference. So I think that all of these are good signs for the Utah Hockey Club. Cut down on the giveaways, win a few more faceoffs. Unlucky penalty. Stenlund, at the end of the game, he was trying to do a stick lift. He missed, and he just smoked that guy in the face. 4-minute double minor. There was blood on the play. That's how they call it. Boom. So, and that's one you really can't argue. So Utah gets through it, and I think they did a great job there. So my compliments to the Utah Hockey Club. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to look inside this Islanders game and bring you up to date on that here on a Saturday doubleheader show. We look back at a win. Hopefully, we're looking forward at a win here. So stay tuned. There is more coming your way. And today's show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Just download the app, check it out. Everything's right there in front of you. It's so easy to get to. You know, we use the FanDuel odds on here all the time. It's so easy to do with the app, and $200 in bonus bets guaranteed right now. So visit FanDuel.com to join today, and then get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And so as we come back here, and now we're going to take a look at this Islanders game. Let's start by taking a look at the standings for the game here. And, you know, I pretty much always keep my standings on the wild card division, because I think that's what matters to Utah Hockey Club. You can look at it by conference, but I think if you're a fan and you're checking out the standings, wild card is what matters to you. So Utah, as of coming into today's action, before any games have been played on a Saturday, sit with 43 points. So they are 3 spots out of the wild card. 46 points for the Vancouver Canucks is that last wild card spot. Now, here's what I think is going to happen down the stretch. There's going to be separation now, because your top teams are starting to move away. And that means all 4 in the Central are starting to move away. Winnipeg at 59, Minnesota at 56, Dallas and Colorado both at 53. So they're separating. Pacific, Vegas 59, LA, Edmonton, both at 53. But now the gap is in the Pacific Division. So if there's a chance for a 5th team to make it out of the Central, it's going to have to be at the cost of someone in the Pacific. And right now in the Pacific, you got Vancouver at 46. They are in the final wild card spot. Calgary 45, St. Louis 44. Utah 43, and don't count out teams like the Ducks and the Kraken 39 and 37, because they're not that far out. Now, a hot run, 4 or 5 game win streak, puts them right back in the conversation. On the other hand, if you drop a couple more, you drop out of the conversation. And that's why right now it's important. Like Utah's 3-5-2 in the last 10. If they're 5-3-2, or if they're 6-4 or 7-3, the conversation begins to change. But that you look at all those top teams that I just told you, with the exception of Winnipeg, who's going through a little bit of a drop right now. So many of those top teams that are pulling away are doing better. Vancouver 2-4-4, Calgary 5-3-2, St. Louis 5-4-1, Utah 3-5-2. What's happening there? Everybody is just kind of muddling along. Everything's right in the middle. So this is the opportunity to come in and maybe try to make some hay against an Islanders team that, quite frankly, is struggling this year. They're not that good. They're close to the bottom. They're 2 points out of the bottom. In fact, 39 points for the Islanders, 16, 18, and 7 this year. 12 of those 16 wins are in regulation, minus 16 goal differential. They're 4-6-0 in the last 10, although they've won their last 2. And away, they're a 500 team, 9-9-5. So they're giving away more points than they're earning on the road. This is another ripe for the picking game. I think that the Utah Hockey Club, I know it's a back-to-back. Sometimes there's an advantage to that. And by the way, Utah Hockey Club did not have a morning skate on Saturday, which not the worst thing in the world, especially when you play on a Friday night. I mean, some guys, they have a routine. They're still coming into the rink anyway. They're still going to come in. They'll get a stretch. They'll ride the bike. Maybe they'll look at some film. They just want to have that routine where they come to the rink, they hang out for a few hours, and then they go back home. Some guys probably, and on a day like this, skating is optional. But you may see players, again, players have routines. If they want to skate on a game day, they want to face some shots, they will. Some goalies like to have that work in the morning, get that kind of vibe going. Some guys will say, you know what, I'll take the extra rest and not be out there. So everybody's different. But when you have that kind of setup in the morning, it's a little bit easier for the team to get that extra rest that they may need before they play on a Saturday night. So this Islanders game coming up is another critical one. And I really like the fact that, it's coming off a big emotional win the other day or Friday night, I should say, last night over the Sharks team, because Utah Hockey Club needs to continue the momentum and they go right back at it. I actually am a fan of back-to-backs, whether you've played well the night before or maybe you just got stomped the night before. If that's the case, that's fine. Get right back out there. I love that opportunity, quite frankly. I think that's a fantastic chance to get yourself out and rebound. But again, the Islanders here coming in, and when you look at the Islanders, nothing really jumps out at you. I think that's kind of why it's difficult to say that, the Islanders are a team that you have to worry about, except that they can jump up and surprise you. And like I say, they've won their last two. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves right now, right? Their confidence is high. They feel good about where they've been and what they're doing. And, they're a team that when you're down and out, that's hard. And they're expected to win. They have a GM in Lou Lamoriello who hates losing. He wants to win all the time. And they have two pretty good top players, Bo Horvat, former Canuck. So some of you who have followed the Western Conference may recognize that name. And Anders Lee are their top point getters right now. Lee, 19 goals. That's tops on the team, 33 points, plus 9. Then you have Horvat, who's 13, 17, and 30 points for plus 12. Those numbers sound pretty good, right? But then it drops off after that. So Palmieri at 27 points, but he's a -7. And not a lot of power play goals sprinkled throughout this team. Lee leads the team with 3 power play goals, and Palmieri second with 2. No one else has double-digit power play goals this year, so the Islanders' special team's not exceptional. And something maybe Utah's power play, which has been hot lately, can take advantage of. The other thing, too, is when you have a team like the Islanders that is coming in, riding a little bit of a winning streak, the confidence is high. It's so important to jump on them early in a home game and try to knock that out of them. Push them back, pin them back in their own zone, get a lot of pucks to the net, get a lot of bodies to the net. And that's why I talked about the hits in the other game being so important and being able to play physical, get in there on that forecheck. That's definitely a key for me is just to really get in there on the Islanders, establish some zone time, some puck possession. And here's what happens when you do that. Number one, when you're following through on your checks, guys start to look over their shoulder. But number two, when you're forcing teams to chase you, which is something that they can absolutely do. What I like about that is that now that's when you start to generate hooking and holding and tripping, those types of penalties where you're forcing someone to keep up with you defensively. Maybe they can't, interference calls. Maybe they can't keep up with you. And so they're forced to use the stick or the jersey grab or some other means of impeding your progress. That is when the other team stops moving their feet a little bit defensively, that you could take advantage of those things. And I think that is so important for Utah Hockey Club to make happen here in this game against the Islanders. So that game is coming up here this evening. Let me double check the start time for you. It is indeed dropping the puck. Let's see, at 9 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Salt Lake time at Delta Center. So make sure you're tuned in for that one. And it's nice to see Utah Hockey Club with their head above water, 18, 16, and 7. And, in a 7-game homestand here, it's so important to pick those points up. So we'll see if they can do that this evening against the Islanders. All right, quick break coming up, and then on the other side of it, I'm going to tell you about these $10 ticket deals that are going around. If you haven't heard of them yet, stay tuned. That's up next. And this episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. I love going to live events. Big live event guy. Sports, music, theater, comedy shows. I love being out. Especially, I've been to so many concerts in my life. I'm not just a sports guy. I love music. One of my favorite memories, I told you about going to Fenway earlier this year, but I can name concerts I've been to going back years, just favorite bands, artists. Sometimes you catch a surprise opening act that you absolutely love. Well, here's the cool thing. Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets to your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. The feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It helped me out when I got my seats at Fenway. I got the panoramic view. I toggled in the all-in pricing, which you have to do. It's not on by default, so turn that on. And it shows you what you're going to pay out the door for your tickets. You get to see where you're sitting. I ended up 5 rows from the field, third base side. It was incredible. Great night, great game. So much fun. So that helps you out right there. And it shows you the super deals, which my tickets happen to be a super deal, which are the impressive, like hey, you need to look at this price for these seats. This is a great deal. And it gives you the great seats at the incredible prices. Plus the app's all in pricing. Again, toggle it on. So you see what you're going to pay. No surprise fees up front. You just see your cost. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Well, wouldn't you know it? It's game time. Okay, Tom, how do I get $10 tickets? Well, I'm going to tell you, this is pretty cool. So there's a couple of ways to do this. Number one, there is a college student club, and I know that that's a little bit more limited of an audience, but you can sign up for and all of this, by the way, is available on their website, Utah Hockey Club's website. You can check the information there. But so this is what's cool. So you have a couple of these innovative ticket programs. So this is the one for most of us college students. Again, you can sign up for this, but there are 2 Utah-based brands. One is called Smith's, which is the supermarket chain, and then Moxie, which is a locally owned pest control company. So it started with Friday's game against the Sharks, but for the remaining regular season home games, up to 2,000 fans per game. So there's a cap on this. That's important to note. You can get these limited view tickets, which are called single goal view, meaning you're only going to see one net. You're going to have to watch the other net on the scoreboard. That sounds like a bummer. It's actually not. You will train yourself really fast. Trust me. You will, just as soon as the play crosses a certain point, your head's going to go up to the scoreboard. Then it's going to come back down when it's into the range you can see. But the cool thing about this is these limited view seats are $10 and include a hot dog and a bottle of water. So really, based on the concession prices this year, which, by the way, have you checked out the inexpensive concession offerings? Let me know, by the way, if you have. Throw it down in the comments what you think of the low price concession offerings that they have at Delta Center. But so really, the ticket's like $6 and bottle of water, hot dog. For NHL hockey, are you kidding me? How do you not sign up for this? So here's the other thing. When you buy your ticket through this, you can't resell it. You can't transfer it. It's your ticket. So that's the way they're going to keep scalpers from reselling these tickets and make sure that it's, people like you and I who are able to go to these games, and of course, students to do that. So, all right, here's how you do it. So Smith's shoppers can get the $10 Hockey Club value tickets following any purchase greater than $20 at participating locations. So you can purchase 2 of those $10 single view tickets per $20 spent. So if you spend $40, if you spend $60 or $80, and the limit is $80, you can get up to 8 tickets at an $80 purchase based on availability. And again, remember, there's a cap, $2,000 a game, with the hot dog and the bottled water. So following your checkout at Smith's, there's going to be a unique URL and promo code that will be printed right on your receipt. So don't throw your receipt out. I know people toss. Don't do that. Save your receipt. Do not throw your receipt out. And then you can redeem the offer online. So that's something you can do there. And again, more info at the Utah Hockey Club website. Now, the other way to do it, maybe you don't shop at Smith's, maybe there's not one in your neighborhood, but this is through Moxie Pest Control. It provides students enrolled in any Utah university, any $10 ticket offer. And again, hot dog and a bottle of water with that. So students need to have a valid edu address, .edu email. That's how you're going to sign up for this. You can purchase up to 2 seats for up to 3 remaining home games. So students, again, there's a cap. You can, through your single email address, pick up to 3 games to buy 2 seats each for. And you go to the Utah Hockey Club website to sign up for that as well. And as part of the program, Utah Hockey Club is going to host a college game night at Delta Center. That's going to be March 20th when they take on the Sabres. That's my hometown team. And throughout the night, students attending the game are through the ticket program. So make sure you purchase your seats for the Sabres game through the ticket program to be able to be part of unique in-game activities, giveaways, and a post-game after party inside one of the premium clubs at Delta Center. So what I'm telling you is buy tickets to March 20th if you're a student with a .edu and you get into the after party at the Delta Center. That's awesome. So you're going to have some Utah Hockey Club personalities, live music, free food, and some NA beverages and more. So there are your 2 ways to take advantage of the $10 tickets. And again, don't throw your receipts out at Smith's. And either way, if you're a student or if you're a Smith shopper, if you need more details, they are at the Utah Hockey Club website. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to do it for the show here today. I appreciate y'all being on board here. And Robin should be back come Monday, as Jimmy Buffett would say. But for now, taking the weekend off, and I am covering you here. Sharks, big win. Love it. Islanders, let's make it 2 in a row, shall we? Thanks for tuning us in. If you made it all the way here and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do that. Also, if you like the videos, hit the like button. You may already be subscribed and you don't like the videos. It helps us in the algorithm. And it makes us more visible so more people can find our coverage and more people know what we're doing. Absolutely appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. And when you do that, I'll give you a bonus shot of Archie. There's Archie. We haven't talked about Archie in a while. All right. Always good to get a little shot of Archie on there. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We will catch up with you very soon here. And Utah Hockey Club Islanders coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. So thanks for being a part of it and subscribing. And we appreciate you here on the Utah Hockey Club podcast. We'll catch you next time.